Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of Rise of Kingdoms, we got a lot of cool stuff to check out from the latest update, including the commander strategies where you can see recommended talents, which we'll talk about. We can go in and we can check out the Cosmetic Shop, which, yes, I'm in KVK and I got to get back to fighting in just a minute here, but I really want to make this video. We'll talk about what's in here, and also there's some museum buffs, which if you're using William, you got to snap this thing off right away. So let's start with the museum buffs, all right? We got Chandragupta and we got William in the museum buffs. Now, if you've been following along with my channel, you know that for years I've been recommending that you use William, and I feel like he's been amazing value for a very, very long time. He was good at 5-5, 5-1, right? Maxing the first three skills. And he's continued to be amazing, maxed out, not maxed out. The dude is the freaking GOAT. So we can go in here and get this. It's adding 3% counter damage taken reduction, which is like practically irrelevant. And then 100 active skill damage factor. Basically, this is a minor buff, but like, I'll take it. The thing about William is that if you're in a top tier kingdom, especially, and you're in a big fight, his rectangle AoE has been arguably a downfall because so much of his kit ties into his rectangle AoE. Not only does it do amazing debuffs, decent, but these days low area of effect damage, but then it triggers a rage and a defense boost. But in the big fights that I find myself in all the time, that rectangle lands like 100% of the time. Plus, he's got instant proc damage. The dude is the GOAT. I'm snapping this off, and I'm not going to look back. I use William all the time. Happy to have this. Amazingly, apparently I can unlock the relic, but not the exhibit. I didn't know you could do that. View, unlock. Okay. We got there. The exhibit is unlocked. On display, baby. Now we have the buff. Now, on the topic of Chandragupta, he has fallen from meta for many reasons, but before we talk about that, we'll just point out his buff here is 10% cav attack, 5%, 3% skill damage. Okay. I feel like he needed like 60% of stats, and we could have a conversation about why he could maybe be relevant again. Why is that? The thing is that combat these days has gone into like a very back and forth, 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 instant proc nature. And so because of that, a commander like Chandragupta dramatically loses value. Why? On the third skill, if this commander's troop contains only cav, you gain health, and whenever their troop launches a basic, you have a 50% chance to inflict exhaustion on the target. The target loses 5% health and defense for 5 seconds. Well, your target is constantly changing, so you're not really stacking this up on the target, which means like, I don't know, do you even like, I don't know, I guess you're getting stacks of blessing. Like, I'm just not there. Like, I wonder if there's something cool you could do with combo with this guy, right? But this has a 3-second cooldown, so even then, like, you already have a 50% chance to trigger this. I don't know, what are we talking about? Chandragupta has not been meta for a while, and I don't think this brings him back. Would I like it to be strong enough to potentially bring him back? Personally, yes. But I'll tell you what, if you can make some crazy reports with Chandragupta, I'd like to see them. Put them in my Discord server, discord.gg/Chisgule. Put them in the KVK stories section. Show me your best Chandragupta reports from 2025. No going into the past when he was super relevant. Okay. GG. What else does this do? Blessing can stack 4 times while in Alliance territory. This commander's troop has a 50% chance to gain 1 stack of Blessed whenever it launches a basic, while outside of territory, 50% chance to gain 2 stacks of Blessed when it launches a basic, but it's got a 5-second cooldown. So you can't really bust this with combo. If there was no cooldown here, I would start to wonder if you could do something really wicked with combo where you like insta-stack all the Blessed, right? But the Blessed effect can stack up to 3 times. So if you could stack more than 3 times and there was no cooldown, combo would crack this open and you'd have like such a cool resurgence of Chandragupta. But whatever. Let's talk about the commander strategies. Commander strategies, I think, is designed to help new players understand what might be a good direction to go with a commander. It gives you an idea for what talents you might choose. And in the case of this talent build, I think you could do better because I don't know why you would put points over here in these fractional stats when you could get whole stats over here. But the big picture idea of this talent build is actually correct. Like, you do want to get Feral Nature. I think Emblazoned Shield is great, and I think Undying Fury is great too. It's just a debate of kind of where they got these extra talent points from and where they're putting them. That is weird. Yeah, I would put those somewhere else. I don't even know how they have those talent points. Oh, okay. Yes, the recommended talent, this should be 5 out of 5. I was like, these points shouldn't be here. This should be 5 out of 5. Okay, so the big picture of these guides is actually really awesome. And I think with a little bit of refinement, these commander strategies would be amazingly top tier. I mean, it's why I make videos for every single commander. It's why you're subscribed in part, because if you want a commander guide, you just do a YouTube search for Chisgule, the name of the commander, and you get everything you would sort of see here in terms of recommendations. And I think I could do you one better than things like kind of Pendant of Eternal Night. Although weirdly, like, I don't know, Pendant of Eternal Night compared to Ring of Doom is like, it's starting in some cases to get some relevance again, which is kind of wild. The swings of the meta are really something. But, you know, some of these recommendations, of course, I think players will be really happy about. Like if we look at Arthur, the Huo Arthur combo is obviously a very strong recommendation. But other combos like the, you know, Arthur and Sebutai pairing is something like, I don't know, we'll have to see kind of what that looks like. And certainly, I mean, I wouldn't put these 12 talent points over here, right? But yeah, I think the big picture of this guide is really awesome. And with a little refinement, I think it would be really, really outstanding. And quite frankly, you know, I think it'd be pretty cool to feature player talents and then a link to a YouTube video. I'm just saying, something you could consider. The only weirdness there is like, bro, you're going to put something in game that's got a link to something external that could go away. Like, I get why the devs would maybe not want to do that. But how cool would that be, right? If like what was in here was actually a player's recommendation and you could go watch the YouTuber's full video. Obviously, I'm partial to this being a YouTuber. Anyways, on the topic of cosmetics, let's go get a look. All right. You may notice, I didn't, that there's this little icon on your City Hall. If you tap it or click it, there's a cosmetic shop. You see it behind me over here. If you click on that, which is, by the way, this is available on any of these cosmetic screens, you get taken to a cosmetic shop. All right. There are city themes, name plaques, avatar frames, and a special section for decorations. All right. And I think this is a fine starting point, although nothing in here personally excites me. I could see how a brand new player to the game might really want a city theme. And like, if you were a spender, like, yeah, like you might want to go and get one of these themes. Like, are there health themes here? If there are, yeah, boom. Like you know, as a brand new player to the game, like you might want to get a Cav health theme, or is there an infantry health theme right over here, right? Or honestly, like the original OG really cool city theme right over here. This is the first city theme they ever put in the game, Trick or Treat. I have this one, very cool. I think these green dots indicate a discount, which you can see over here, perhaps. And it says that there's 50 days on this, so perhaps that's the time for which it's on sale. Could be wrong on that. And if you're wondering, well, like, Chisgule, what is this currency that you use here? I mean, it looks like clams, and yeah, they're clammy Ks. Clammeeks? Is it clammeeks? Clammy Ks? What clams? What do we call this? Anyways, you got to spend your clams to go and get these things. As of right now, the only way to get clams is to spend. I personally feel like, you know, there's nothing here that I need or want, okay, among all these city themes and things. But I think this is a really, really interesting shell for what is to come potentially. And I think they could add really cool stuff to this shop. And it's just a question of what they add and when they add it. Because they can now that they've got this framework in place, they can, if they want, add a way for players to get, you know, these clams without spending. If they want, they can add more stuff in here in terms of city themes and name plaques, etc. But they also can add new categories, okay? I think there's a lot they can do with this shop, and I think the potential of this is really cool. And as someone who worked in technology in the past, I can see the value of launching something like this incrementally, where there's like, you know, a small amount of stuff in here that you might want initially. And then over time, they build up the sort of catalog of things that are here. So I actually have a lot of respect for that style of launching features. I think this is the way to view this is sort of the initial incarnation and not its final form. But very, very cool. Generally on board with this. Would I personally drop, what does it take here? 6,400 clams, which would run me what? Depending on how I do this, more than $20. We're looking at like what? Like $30? Oh, I guess, $25. All right. I mean, plus you get double for the first purchase, but setting aside first purchase, right? Like $25 for a city theme. If you were accounting for first purchase, I guess you'd have to buy a couple of these tiers, right? You'd need to, well, you don't need to see me do math here, but you probably get there with the $15 combination here, $5 tier, $10 tier. I'm generally on board. Look, big picture, I think these changes obviously don't impact my day-to-day life a ton, and I think that's also totally fine. I think it is moving the game in a fine direction. And like I said, I don't agree with all the talent builds that are in there, but like as a starting point, I think this stuff is really, really cool, actually. And I think that for new players especially, I think it's going to improve a lot of things. Because look, why do you think YouTube channels are popular? It's because people are like, what am I supposed to do with this commander? What talents am I supposed to use? What equipment am I supposed to use? And, again, like I don't necessarily agree with all the recommendations, but like Zhuge Liang with Philip is actually a pretty legit recommendation. Like, do I think that Liu Qiao with Philip would be a really good ad here? Yes. Do I think that Philip with Ragnar would be a better ad than, Philip with Trajan? Yes. But I also haven't run Philip with Trajan, but I'm pretty sure that would be better. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, maybe I have the combo. I could try it. They do recommend the leadership key here, but like, I would not pick, for example, Ring and Horn. I would probably do Drums Horn in my perfect world, but you kind of get the idea. Like I said, now I'm repeating myself. Very cool direction. I think it'll get refined and is honestly pretty hype. And I mentioned this on stream the other day, but I reconnected with another big YouTuber that I hadn't talked to in a while, and I connected with a really big YouTuber and Twitch streamer that I was meeting for the first time. And one of the things that I sort of forget playing Rise of Kingdoms is that most games like actually just never improve, and they just kind of like add features but get worse consistently over time. And Rise of Kingdoms is a game that has, especially over the last year, really been improving a lot. And it is very, very cool to see. So, like I said, I think these features are an awesome starting point. I'm insanely hyped for my William buff. I was already cooking with William, bro. And I look forward to what comes next, all right? You enjoy the vid, throw a like on here, subscribe. We're up to 1,600 damage factor, baby. Let's go. But this buff is insane. And like, I don't know. Do we need to start talking about 5551 William again? I don't know that I'd start William now, but this is another video, all right? Another video for another day. If you enjoyed this one, throw a like and subscribe. Until next time, you have fun. Smash your enemies. I got to get back to KVK fighting. Speaking of which, check the cards in the end screen if you want to see yesterday's pass opening or our first pass opening. It's just been a crazy KVK.